This call is now being recorded. This call is now taking notes.
Yeah. Okay, so namaste, happy Wildlife Week to you all, and welcome to this presentation by YPS for the Wildlife Week. And for the whole week, we have arranged for presentations, and this is the second day. Yesterday, we had Professor Jitendra Govindani, who gave us a very good presentation on tigers. It was very educational. So he's also here. Thank you again. And as for today's presentation, it is by Satish. Of course, before we go on to with his presentation, I would like to give you a brief about the other programs that we have. And before I do that, I request everybody to see the presentation on the bigger screen and not on your phones, because it's a different experience if you do it on a screen. And also, please keep your mics muted and your videos turned off. And whenever there's a question, Satish, is it okay for people to ask questions as and when?
Yes, yes. Yes, yes.
Okay.
Yes, anytime. But I don't think there will be any questions. But if at all, if it is there, I can answer anytime, or even at the end also.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I request people to either raise their hand or write their question in the chat, and then we will take it up. I'll interrupt Satish in the middle whenever I can, and we'll take up the questions.
Names.
And meanwhile, about the other presentations now. Tomorrow we have a macro walk. The third day of Wildlife Week, we have a macro walk to Kalkare Forest, which is going to be led by Satish. And there's going to be a limited number of 18 people. It will be broadcast today, and then you can register. This is going to happen at 7:30 in the morning. At assembly will be at Kalkare Gate, and then we'll make a list of people who want to join the walk. And then on Monday, the 6th October, we have a presentation, Witness to the Wild Encounters Across Habitats by Kedar Bide. And on the 7th of October, we have a presentation, My Wild Quest for Creative Satisfaction by Sangram Govardhane. And on the 8th of October, that's Wednesday, the last day of the Wildlife Week, we have a presentation, Birds by Praveen P. Mohandas. All these presentations are 5:30 in the evening, and I'll be sharing the links for each. The links are different, so it will be broadcast. And after this, on the 11th of October, we have our YPS International Salon 2025's exhibition of our awarded prints. And on the same day, that is on Saturday, we also have another presentation called Nabibia, A Journey Through Untamed Landscapes and Wild Beauty by Anantamurthy. This will be at the Karnataka Chitrakala Parishad, and it will start at 3 p.m. Please note it is on Saturday at Chitrakala Parishad at 3 p.m. So please make it convenient to attend this wonderful presentation by Anantamurthy. And on the 12th, that is Sunday, 12th at 11 a.m., the award ceremony is going to start. So do join us for the award ceremony, and also to have a look at the lovely pictures which will be on display at the Devraj Hall, which is in the basement at Chitrakala Parishad. And as for today's presentation by Satish, the title is Nature in Close-Up. The title tells you all about what the presentation is going to be. So many times, most of the time when we have a look at anything in nature, maybe a flower, maybe an insect or a bird or an animal, we see them as a whole. So, you see them in a bigger picture, that is the whole insect or the whole animal. But then we rarely see these creatures minutely. Maybe, just a small part of it, maybe just the eye or maybe just its skin, the structure and stuff like that. So this is what it's all about, close up, looking at things in a very close up manner. So what Satish will be doing is he'll be showing us opportunities that one can make pictures by looking at nature closely in a close-up fashion. Now, for a brief about head Satish, he says the art of playing with light and presenting things ordinary in extraordinary perspective, portrayal of nature in its finest details and to capture the various human emotions in all its beauty is what distinguishes him from the others. So he is the first Indian to be honored with EFIAP and MFIAP in nature color prints, and he's the youngest Indian to get MFIAP. I think he still holds that the distinction of being the youngest Indian to have got MFIAP. He's also the first Indian to get 2 master's distinctions in nature section from international photography bodies. Now, Satish has judged more than 38 international and 49 national salons. I'm sure the numbers would have gone up by now. From the time I put it up, and it would have gone up. His pictures have graced all the guide books published by Outlook Traveler and Today Travel Plus magazines. He has contributed calendar spreads to WWF, BEMEL, BHEL, MIPO, MCF, and Canara Bank. Andhra Pradesh Photography Academy has published a book on his wildlife photography journey. Till date, he has won 978 national and international awards. For his achievements, he has been conferred with the title of Karnataka's best. That's a huge thing. Congratulations, Satish, for this.
Thank you so much.
For being the pride of Karnataka.
Thank you. Thank you.
This award is in the field of art of photography and was given by the Karnataka Lalit Kala Academy. So Satish has been a member of Youth Photographic Society for 42 plus years. He has served as a secretary, vice president, and president of the club. He is our immediate past president now. This, I think 2 years back, he was the president. And since then, Vikas Shastri has taken over. So he proudly says YPS is the #1 photography club in India. That has always been his line. And we are really proud of this. And today we are going to have all these wonderful pictures, the close-up in nature that you might have missed seeing. So the screen is all yours, Satish.
Thank you, Brahma. And thanks a lot for giving me an opportunity to showcase my images during this Wildlife Week. And best wishes to all of you for Wildlife Week. And it is our duty to conserve wildlife, nature, for not only for our own this thing, but also for the future generation. And thankfully, the government of India in 1973, they made a declaration to protect the tiger, which is in the apex of the animal kingdom. And as all of you know that if the tiger is saved, the rest of the species will be saved automatically. It's an environmental balance. It's an ecological balance that the God has created. And as we are all proud Indians, in fact, we feel more proud to have so many species of wildlife, so many species of birds in India. And it is very, very difficult to capture all the animals and all the bird species in our lifetime, which is very short. In fact, most of the people, they start photographing at the age of 50 plus. Some people, they start at the age of 25 and retired at 30. So it's quite difficult to capture everything in one life. So we need so many rebirths only in India to capture so many species of birds, animals, insects, butterfly, and so many things. So today, I'm going to talk about the nature in close-up, which means that it is not just taking pictures with 600 mm or 400 mm or with the 105 type macro, all those things. And please be known that none of these images are good for salons. And don't ask me if this picture will go for salon, if this picture will get award in salon. No, none of this will be accepted, nor it will get awarded in either national salon or international salon. This purely my purely the photography that I have taken for my own satisfaction, which I want to show it to the people to change their mindset of looking at nature. The nature, the mother nature has given so much to us to not only to appreciate the beauty of nature, but also to capture it in our memories. Being photographers, we are so fortunate that we are so close to animals and birds than common people. Most of the common people, including your own family members, they would not have gone to sanctuaries or to any nature outings as frequently as you, and have seen so many bird species or animals or insects or butterflies like you at a very, very close setup. So we as photographers, I feel that we are so fortunate to have this special privilege of seeing nature at a very close distance. In being a photographer, it is not only our duty to capture the nature as it is, but it is our utmost duty to leave this place as it was. That means we should not destroy anything in nature. We should not destroy anything in the whatever the species that we take, the environment, or the place where we have shot images. We have to leave our footmarks only, and we should take the memories from what we have seen and what we have captured in the nature. In nature, don't expect today's program to be on wildlife or bird species or things like that. It will be entirely different things than those subjects. Because my intention is to take you as close as possible. Even some of the photographers would not have seen the scene as like today what you are going to see now. That means that you should have a third eye. You should open your third eye to see such kind of close-up in the nature. And most of the time, all the wildlife photographers, I am sure that even yesterday, Mr. Jitendra Govindani, Professor Govindani, he spoke about tigers and how we have to track tigers and what is the best way to photograph them and how to protect. Not only that, while photographing, he also told about visualization. In fact, all the wildlife photographers or nature photographers have that kind of a special technique called visualization. Being an artist, you should visualize your images before taking the picture, the final picture. And today I'm going to show you the varied aspects of nature that is found, very commonly found in our own gardens or in our own parks, or when you go for wildlife photography, you can aim for such kind of images. So let me start today's program with a common subject that, as all we see very commonly during any flower shows or in any garden or anything. Most of the time when we visit any gardens and look at these flowers, we just see them and appreciate their beauty. Oh, so beautiful flowers, and move on. But you have to see them closely to see what the God has created, how beautifully the God has created. And many of the times we also go very close to the nature and see what is the environment that the insects have adopted for its development in its life. And these are all the common things, even the mushrooms. Many of people, they thought, why I am showing potato today? It is not potatoes. And these are the fungi or the mushrooms that is found in the forest. So even the cactus that you find in your garden or anything, it has got its own beauty. You have to bring those beauty and enhance those beauty in your images, whether it is in color or in black and white. Because being a humans, the nature has given us the special capability of seeing thousands of images. Only the human eye can see and visualize those thousands of different colors. But as a photo artist, we also have developed a keen artistic view towards converting them into black and whites and grays. Black, white, and different tonal grays makes a black and white image more beautiful. So now I'm showing more of these images. These are the kind of subjects that I'm going to show. Those are the 4 examples that I showed. And I'm continuing with my presentation with more number of presentations. So when you go and see the flowers like coxcomb in your garden area, you also see how closely it is knitted. As a coxcomb, it's a beautiful flower. But when you go very close, like you take a human figure, but when you take a close-up of the skin, we have got so many hairs and spores, which normally you don't see it in every human being. But only when you go very, very close, you can see. Even the small bee that is on the flower, it will be missed by just looking at the flower. But when you take a very close look, then you'll find it more beautiful. Like this lotus flower, when you go very close and take, actually it looks like a flame or a fire. But the same thing what you have seen while you're shooting the pictures, the same effect you have to bring back in your processing too. So the processing is at most important for any wildlife photographer or nature photographer, because you should not overtake the nature's colors by over saturating or over processing. But whatever you have seen, you have to come very close to that, at least to 98% or 100% close to the colors that is found in the nature. Then your images, or you are doing justice for your pictures. These are some of the flowers that is found in the Himalayas. So when you go, say about 12,000 feet above sea level, or 13,000 feet above sea level, in the places, very cold deserts of Ladakh region, you find such kind of flowers. And when you come to the plains, maybe like you see in Bangalore outskirts, like Valley School or Bannerghatta National Park, or just if you cross about 30 or 40 kilometers away from Bangalore, you find grasslands where you have very tiny flowers. And these flowers, they bloom during different seasons. Different flowers bloom in different seasons. So you have to keep going very often to take this. And believe me, these flowers are just 1 centimeter. So 1 centimeter is very tiny. And just because they are very small, you cannot take full frame 1:1 and show it as a very big, this thing, huge flower. You have to convey the message to the onlooker that by looking at this picture, the onlooker will get an idea what could be the size of this image. So you have to show the environment, that is the leaf of that plant, the colors of the flower, the size, mainly the size. And of course, as you are all photographers, you very well know that how the photograph is, the impact is created is by blurring the background. And here also you can see another tiny flower, which is so beautiful, pinkish flower. It is so, sorry, it is so tiny. And I cannot show you the close-up of flower because it makes so big. And I have to show you the hairs that is found from the stem to the until the flower. All those things, it beautifies the images only when there is a backlighting. So you have to think what kind of lighting that you have to use. For example, in this picture, there are no such kind of things that which I can highlight it, like hairs or which is good for backlighting. This is very good for maybe a cloudy lighting, you can say, where there is no harsh sun, where it is not creating harsh shadows. But here I have to show it in backlighting so that I can enhance the beauty of those hairs. That is why it is making this flower more beautiful. Like that, you have to select your lighting conditions as well as the composition and so many other factors when you are shooting this thing. And here it is one of the rarest of the flowers I'm going to show henceforth. Some of them are taken in Tas Plateau in Maharashtra. And there, during this September, there are thousands and thousands of tiny flowers. It is just, some of them are 1 centimeter, some of them are 2 centimeters, some of them are, say, about 4 mm or 5 mm, like that. They're so tiny and they are very, very important as far as the scientific reasons are concerned. So they protect that land, and we cannot even walk in between those grasslands. So they have made a path. We have to go in that path and take these flowers which are close to our path. And there I have photographed these tiny flowers, where if you take a close-up look at this, you find you can really enjoy the beauty and also appreciate the work of nature. But if you don't go close, either by using your macro lens, or even for a naked eye, if you don't take a closer look, you cannot get this beauty. So it will be just one amongst another 1,000 images, 1,000 other flowers. So if you go very close, then only you can appreciate the beauty. For example, there is another flower which is very rare. And also you can see the hairs on the leaves. In these leaves, these flowers, they bloom. So by adding those leaves also, it gives more beauty to the flowers. So what could be the aperture that you have to use? What is the shutter speed? What should be the lighting that you have to use? It's all individual taste. And this is another one of the rare flowers. It's called lantern flower also. And they are very, very endemic to certain regions. This particular flower, though it is a lantern flower, this was taken in Tas Plateau, which was about 1 inch in length. The same kind of flower, this was taken in Valley School in Bangalore. It was 2.5 inches in length, but it is the same family of lantern flowers. And this is a full bloom flower. It is not a bud or anything. It's mainly the flower. So here I have used the backlighting, the natural sunlight as a backlighting, and I use it 300 mm telelens for this. So when you are shooting, when you are going close, then only you can see the tiny small dots or the hairs or the bird, the design of the flower, all those things. Many of the times we pass in front of them, but we miss. That is because we only see the whole ground as a whole, but we don't look into the picture, into the flowers. This is called what Ganesh face it has got. They called as Vinayak or something in Maharashtra. Again, this is also they grow. It grows in Khas Plateau. This is also one of the rare flowers. It blooms only in the month of September. These are all the very small and very small flowers taken in Khas Plateau. And this is one of the orchids. I turned in, changed it into black and white to show the beauty of the backside of the leaves also. It is not just always we appreciate the orchids from the front, which has got a tongue and beautiful colors and beautiful patterns, everything. Of course, we have to take that also. But at the back also, you can see how beautiful the petals are there, how beautifully it is being distributed. And you see the composition of nature, not the composition of photographer, composition of nature, how symmetrical it is. All these things you find it, you appreciate only when you go very close to it. Like here in this picture, which I had taken in Valley School in Bangalore, this has got beautiful formation to the right and left, and you can see the small birds and so many things, very colorful. And likewise, even in Valley School also, you find so many other flowers. And by using your, by opening up your aperture to 2.8 or f4 or anything in your macro lenses, you can create such kind of an effect and give importance to whatever you feel that is good in the picture. This was taken recently in Pune in one of the private farms, and these are the flowers which are not too white or not too grayish. It is in the mid-range, but I like it, the buds, the stages of flower blooming. There is a close-up of a very common Dera flower, which is very common in Bangalore, but you see what color patterns it has got, the contrast, the pinkish to the yellow to the green, and in that colors only have varied color patterns also in that. So these are all quite interesting when you take a very close-up look. Here, it is not just the colors, but you see the transparent or the translucent quality of the petals, how the light is penetrating through that flower lace. So it is so beautiful, and it is just very subdued colors, very cool colors, contrasted by the dark green. Here we are just enjoying the previous day's night's rain, spell of rain. So still you can see the raindrops. And this is a very common flower you may find, bougainvillea. So bougainvillea also you can see how the nature has composed the beautiful three triangular patterns, and within the main flower there is another tiny flowers, 3 flowers. These things, you know, we usually miss it just because the whole plant with thousands of flowers, they look so beautiful. So we go back and look at the plant as a whole from the very long distance, then appreciate it's so beautiful. It will be very colorful. But also, from now onwards, you just take a close-up look at whatever you see, you find a different world. And here, this flower, which is common in some of the forests or some of the parks and all, they grow about 2 feet from the ground. That is the height of the plant. And the flowers is almost about 1.5 to 2 inches maximum. In that, the crab spider hide and wait for the prey. And you see the coloration that the nature has given. How beautifully the nature has given. The camouflage quality of the spiders, different insects, how they hide and how they hide themselves from the prey. That is why they get the prey so easily. And the coloration, which even if you look at from 3 feet, 4 feet from this flower, you will miss it. You need a third eye, which is called as for micro photographers. You have to be at least 2 feet or 1.5 feet from the flowers. If it is small, tiny flowers, then you will find these crab spiders, particularly crab spiders. They hide in the flowers. They are so camouflaged. Until you go very close, you may not find them. Here, you can see the beautiful lighting that has created the patterns on the leaves as well as in the flowers. You can see the freshness of the flowers and the raindrops that's on the petals. So these things you have to bring it in your photography. And during photography also, you have to select such flowers that where you have to visualize the final processing, that I will get this portion dark, this portion's highlighted, these portions good tones, all those things. Then you can select that particular flower and take. It's not always that you have to take flowers as soon as you see. Don't take pictures. You take your own time by just going circular way around the plant, around the flowers and other things, and select the best of the best, and then give more importance and more spend more time to capture their beauties. The particular flower, what you are seeing is the Philippines jade wide. So they are called wine flowers because they grow in bunches like a wine. They will be hanging on this thing. So these flowers, which are from Jamaica, I mean not from Jamaica, from Southeast Asian country. So they once in 5 years they bloom in Lalbagh. So sometimes these flowers will be in this beautiful, very cool colors. Sometimes it will be very oranges, reddish orange color. They are also very beautiful. Same plant. And of course, many people, they may not have seen this. Very few people might have seen these flowers. Particularly Karnataka people would have seen this. These are coffee flowers. Just before the coffee seeds they grow, the flowers will bloom during the rainy season. And you need not have to ask anybody, is there any coffee estate nearby? Because of the smell of these flowers, kilometers together, you will know that there are coffee estates nearby. So if you go very close to this, you will find thousands and thousands of honeybees. And the honey that is collected in these estates are the tastiest, because these flowers are very highly excellent smell they give, and the taste is also very good. So the honey that is found in coffee estates are very tasty. And these are
So,
the
Satish, can I
tiny.
interrupt you just for a second? Yeah. So there are two questions here. So one is, it is by Shashank SB. He says, how do you decide when to use a 1:1 macro lens or a tele lens for flower photos?
Yeah. Another question?
The other one is by Akshata Manjunath. She says, do you use focus stacking on these images?
Okay. Yeah. The first answer for the first question is that depending on the size of the flowers or the plant, we use telelens or the macro lens. If the subjects that I am like this ants that is on the flowers, this was taken with a macro lens at a very close up, no, at a very close distance to get the patterns as well as the ants. So here I have to use 105 macro, or even in your mobile, you can go very close and shoot. And if the plants are quite far, maybe about 10 feet away, or if you want to separate the plant flower from the plant and take very close up, where you cannot go very close, but still you want a close up picture, then you have to use tele lens, maybe 200 mm or 300 mm, depending on the size of the flower. And later on, if it is a little smaller, you can crop it and use whatever the crop you want in the processing, during the processing. And the second question, I have never used stacking in my macro photography so far. I have to still do it. I have not done it. And all these are strike shots, single shots, and no stacking for any of this. And usually I keep my aperture at f8. And most of the lenses, it has got a sweet point that you have to check it up, which lens you are using and which is the sweet point. That particular aperture will give you the sharpest image in that particular aperture. So all said and done, you can try even other apertures also. So it is not that I have not tried others. I even shoot at f11, f22 and all, depending on my subject, how I want the final picture. That is what I call as pre-visualization. You have to visualize what is the depth you need, and whether you want totally shallow depth of field, use 2.8 or f4. If you want a lot of sharpness in the picture, a lot of depth in the picture, then use f16, f22 like that. So it is not hard and fast rule, but it is individual taste.
Okay, looks like Akshata still has a question, Satish. So she's raised her hand.
Yeah,
Akshata,
yeah.
go ahead. Yeah.
Hello, ma'am. It wasn't me. Sorry. I didn't raise the hand.
Oh, but I did see it. Anyway, Ananthamurthy has raised a hand. Ananthamurthy, you can go ahead.
Audio is too less.
No, we can
Audio
hear you
is fine. I think it's
properly, Anna.
only for you. Yeah. Check your audio settings.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Satish. Yeah.
Yeah. So likewise, in fact, these two pictures, I was demonstrating the color patterns and the ants to my friend who never used mobile to capture this. So I was demonstrating these pictures by going very close and zooming and taking pictures. So these two images are by mobile shots, remaining all with my mirrorless and DSLR cameras and 105 mm macro. This is Pride of Burma, which is one of the very beautiful flower that is found in Lalbagh, and this is a national flower of Burma. And there is a close-up. You can see how beautiful the rose inside the rose. So these curves and patterns you have to capture. It is not just the whole flower that everybody would have seen. So there is no, you have to be different from others. So there is no meaning that if you keep on shooting the same thing what others are also doing, so it becomes another picture, that's all. So likewise, you can keep changing your composition and change your subject matter, subject treatment, all those things. So this was taken in Himalayas, the fern leaves, which makes beautiful, interesting patterns. And these flowers, they grow very close to the ferns always and between the rocks. So this has given me beautiful composition values. And by looking at these flowers or the arrangement or the environment, people should get an idea where it was taken, whether it is a garden or in the natural setup or things like that. You can see the rocks at the back. You can see the fern leaves. You can see these wildflowers. So there is a wild setup, natural wild setup, and it's in Himalayas. And these are some of the orchids, which is called as the lady slipper orchid. And see the beauty of this. All these orchids have got tongue. You can see the tongues. And all those flowers which has got tongue and different colors are all comes under orchid family. And this is also an orchid and falls under the same lady slipper orchid. Yeah, any question?
So, this Shashank is asking, how much does shutter speed matter to capture the bright colors of these flowers?
Yeah. Shutter speed always you have to keep at least minimum shutter speed of 125 for any photography. I feel unless you are taking some creative images with pan or some tilt or some creative images, you can go to any different slower shutter speed. But to capture these flowers or insects or anything, minimum speed should be 125 or 160th or 200. So aperture you can vary depending on the depth of field that you want, and background if you want to throw out of focus, or if you want different effect, you can use different apertures. So if you are using heavy lens or zoom lens like 80 to 200, 70, 200 and all, you need minimum of 350 to 400 shutter speed, so that you should not get shake if it is handled. If you are using a tripod, you can even go for 1/10 of a second or 1/15 of a second, unless there is no wind. So wind is a major problem in flowers or insects photography, because if you use slow shutter speed and if there is a wind, you will not get a sharp image. So you have to wait until the wind is stopped and then take picture. Yes.
Yeah, and Satish, Mr. Parameshwar has raised his hand. So please go ahead and ask your question, sir. You're on mute. You have to unmute yourself.
What focal length macro you are using?
I'm using 105 mm macro, f2.8.
Okay. How do you do the lighting? Is it natural lighting or you do flash?
Whatever you are seeing right now, all the flowers, they're all natural lighting. And for insects and butterflies or other things, I use flashes sometimes. But here the flowers, what I am showing is all natural light. And you can use the flash also and get the same effect in whatever the kind of lighting, provided if you know the technique of using flashes. And you have to use flash with a diffuser, then you will get very good detailed patterns and exposure if you use a diffuser for the flash.
Thank you.
I think Professor. Yeah, I think Professor has a question. Please go ahead. You have to unmute yourself.
Sir, I have the same question.
Yes,
you are able to hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
So, yeah. So, I have a same question that you just spoke about a diffuser. My question is, like, I see a lot of macro photographers using diffusers. Now, if I use a diffuser, now, in this particular picture that you have shown, it's a beautiful picture, but would it look different if I use a diffuser? So, like, and I've seen many photographers when they click macro, the diffuser makes the background totally dark and the subject lights up. Is that the only
Yes.
advantage that I see? I'm not a macro photographer, but I had bought a macro only for 2 days, and I gave it off because I realized it's a very difficult genre of photography. Tiger looked very easy, so I bought the diffuser, everything, but I did not get that desired image.
Okay. See, that's actually a good question by a professional. So the thing is, many of the people, they have diffusers, they have flash, but I pity them. They don't know how to use it. So you have to learn the techniques of using flashes, either single flash, how to use it, single flash with the diffuser, how to use it. And you can use 2 flash. I use 3 flashes for my macro photography. I'll show you later. And the effect what you are seeing here, the same thing you will get it in flash photography also. And it depends on, see, the flash photography depends on the aperture, not the shutter speed. If I am right, and if all of you agree, all the professionals at least, the flash exposure depends on the aperture. And whatever the shutter speed you give, it will sync. The flash will sync. But the shutter speed what you are keeping in daylight, that takes the ambient light. Ambient light is nothing but the light that is coming from out of the flash. That is the natural light at the background or the side or anything is the ambient light that is coming through. Only that will be captured by the shutter speed. But the main subject where you are focusing and using the aperture, the flash will fire there and gives the exposure. So the background, how you are controlling, if you don't want the background, if you want dark background, use 250S, which is the high shutter speed for using flashes for many of the cameras. Some of the latest cameras what we have got and all, we can use even 4,000 of a second for our flash photography also. For high speed photography and all they use, which for macro, no need to use that. So if you keep in 250S and use diffuser, the background goes dark. Supposing if there is no light at all at the background, still it will become more darker. If there is fairly good enough light at the background, you will see faint ambient light, which is fairly good enough for macro subject. So for this kind of images, which I have taken without flash here, the same thing, same exposure, same background, same thing can be achieved by using flash, single flash, or flash with the diffuser. But you should know the technique of using, how much to give, where to hold the flash, how much to diffuse it. All these techniques, if you know, your photography becomes very, very easy and very, you can create fantastic images. I hope I answered your question, Doctor. Okay, fine. Going next picture. Again, there is a picture taken with 24 to 120 because here I had not taken my macro lens. So I used my 120mm kit lens for Z8. So I have shot this. This is called Columbium. In Ladakh, I took this picture. So there is a pink pink quill, which is not found in India, but I shot this in India near Pune. This is from Ecuador. This flower actually originated from Ecuador. One of the most beautiful flowers, and first time I am seeing this. I visited a private garden in Pune on the hills, top of the hills, and there it was growing. And here also you can see the bird of paradise flower. And this particular flower has got different colors, beautiful hues of colors. And within that, when I went very close to that, I saw this bull ant. It was drinking water. That was those water which was stored in the previous day rain. So that it was drinking in the morning. So from the far, when you look at the flower as a whole, you may not see these tiny things, which is very, very important for our naturalist tree. So this is a bull ant. And this is a bracket mushroom. You can see the beautiful curves and patterns underneath the mushrooms, how beautiful it is. And these are all the patterns that is provided by the nature to breathe for the mushrooms. And the same picture, if you convert it in black and white, how beautiful it looks. So still it maintains the beauty in color as well as in black and white. So some of the subjects, depending on your taste and depending on your thinking, you can convert these images into black and white, which looks more beautiful. And this was taken in one of the small hill station, because these particular mushrooms, they grow in cold climate hill stations. And these at a ground level, most of the mushrooms, they grow on the ground as well as on the bark of the tree. So and the fungi and mushrooms are all the same. It's a reproduction organ that we call it as mushrooms. So it comes under the fungi family only. So you can see different mushrooms, different color, and you can go very close and see the beauty of mushrooms. Never ever smell the mushrooms. Don't go very close to the mushroom and smell it from the nose. Why? Because I will tell you in the last slide. This bridal veil mushroom, which was grown in GPA forest near my house, and it grows during the rainy season. If there is a 2-3 days continuous spell of rain, it will grow in the wherever there is a shed of leaves and bamboos and other things, it will grow there. It's one of the most beautiful mushrooms. And I have lighted from the bottom. I have given my mobile light, and I shot with long exposure, handled, holding my elbow onto the ground and holding the camera in my hand, putting my elbow on the ground. I shot that picture at 1/20th or 1/15th of a second. And you can see the ambient light as well as the light provided by mobile torch. These are some of the rainforest mushrooms. So here also, these mushrooms, if you go very close and take a look, they have got hairs. And these hairs are just like eyelashes. So these mushrooms are also called as eyelash mushrooms. And they also provide, capture the rainwater or dewdrops and all inside this thing. This mushrooms come under the family of cup mushrooms. So hence this is called as eyelash cup mushrooms. And these are fire flame mushrooms, and it looks from the far as though there is a flame. And these are some of the most beautiful and most lovely mushrooms that you see. Usually you see a big bulb of mushroom, usually, or the bracket mushrooms. But these mushrooms are quite rare, and this grows only in rainforest, not anywhere else. And you get another color, which is velvet. This is also called as violet flame. So these are all mushrooms, are also fungi, and very beautiful. If you have an interest for mushrooms, go in the rainy season. Every day you go, and every day you will find different mushrooms and different colored mushrooms. And I'm sorry, this orchid has come in between, and this is one of the rare orchids, rarest of the rare orchids. And I shot this picture. Maybe most of the people that you are seeing, wildlife photographers, I am sure, even the regular wildlife photographer also would not have known there is a beautiful orchid form near Kaziranga gate. It's about 2 kilometers from Kaziranga main gate. I usually, when I conduct workshop, I take my students or participants not to miss this orchid garden at all. So whoever comes with me, I take them and show them, and it requires half a day for you to see more than 480 species of orchids in that orchid farm. And it is all natural, and you don't see such kind of collection anywhere. And this picture was taken there. If anybody is going to Kaziranga, please make a visit. Even if you stay for one full day, it's really worth it. These are the ink cap mushrooms. So these also grows under bark of the trees and this thing, and very delicate. And even if you touch them or give little force also, it will break. Such a fragile mushrooms these are. And these are honeycomb spores mushroom. And these are the spores actually inside the mushroom. And you will get different variations in this: white, black, brown, like this. Whole mushroom is white or whole mushroom is black, like that. So these are all the small spores inside the mushrooms. And these are very beautiful tiny mushrooms. It's about 3 inches in length. So I placed 2 flashes. I showed my people who had attended my workshop at Agumbe for macro photography. So I was showing them how to light up the insects, butterflies, mushrooms, all those things. During that time, I shot these 2 mushrooms. This is a bracket mushroom. This was taken just close by, and probably tomorrow also we are going to the same place. And because of these rains, you may find good number of mushrooms, hopefully. This is a bracket mushroom taken with a backlighting. These are again bracket mushrooms taken in a different locale. Sorry. This was taken in rainforest near Shivamogga. And this is a natural setup. You can see the color contrast also. Beautiful leaves and bracket mushroom. The whole tree had this bracket mushroom, but I concentrated close up of these bracket mushrooms. And here you can see another mushrooms, which is fed by snails. Actually, these snails, they go and feed on these mushrooms. So I have used 2 flashes here. So Dr. Jitender was asking, even if you use diffuser, why we get black background? It is because of I used 250s shutter speed, so I got black background. If I had used 160th or 130th shutter speed, I would have got the beautiful green background. But since I was using backlighting, I wanted to highlight that. And these snail, these 2 antennas, what you are seeing, the transparent one, it beautifies only when there is a black background, not in the green background. So depending on the subject, you have to use your flash as well as your exposures. And these are the another type of beautiful mushrooms grown in rainforest. So rainforests are the ones which provides life not only to insects, butterflies, spiders, birds, those things, and snakes. They also provide life to these tiny, tiny objects. Only when you go close up and see, you can see the patterns on them. So beautiful pattern. And here I use it F22 for my macro because I have to get the more depth. And since it was raining, I could not use tripod and camera together because I cannot drench my camera in that, because already it will be get drenched in the rain during the night trips inside the forest during the snake this thing. So I did not use tripod, so I use it F22 for this. And this just one more close-up shot of that, and again with F22. So this beauty of these mushrooms. And now you can see how the mushrooms are grown. This is called as the sporulation of mushrooms. All the mushrooms, they sporulate. There are a lot of spores inside the body of the tiny, very minuscule spores on the body of all the mushrooms. All mushrooms, they grow on ground as well as on the bark of the trees or the dead trees or wherever. Why? Because when this is a bracket mushroom, for your information, they are sporing, they are sending the seeds or whatever you say for the same. So it is going in the air. The spores are uh, sent in the night time or even in the during time. Night time we see it because with the torchlight or the flashlight, when you put it for the macro, you will see it better. In daytime, you cannot see these spores, even though they will be sporulating. This is the reason why I told don't go and smell the mushrooms, because some of the mushrooms spores are so thin, which you may not realize that once it gets into your lungs, there it is going to end your this thing. So you should never ever smell any of the mushrooms. You don't know when it is sporulating, when it is sending this thing. So it goes inside your nose without your knowledge and settles down on your lungs. So here it is sending the spores in the night. So I have used a torch, and thanks to Mr. Rakesh, he was holding the torch for a very long time, and I have used the longer shutter speed to show the movement of the spores. And these spores, it go in different directions because of the wind. And they are so tiny that you can see it as a lines, that's all. You cannot see it as dust. Though it is very similar to dust, you may not see it them unless I use fast high shutter speed to show it. And on the right side, during my long shutter opening, one of the insect, it just took off from the somewhere, and you can see the flight path of that insect that has gone. So this is the sporulation. It happens in the night times. And when does this happen? When there is a very heavy rain for 1 hour or 2 hours, the rain stops. And once it stops for about 5 minutes, 10 minutes, there is a humidity created in the air or in the environment. When that humidity takes over, this sporulation takes, it goes very fast. So when this sporulation takes place, the immediate this thing is to put your light and set your camera setup, everything, which is very, very difficult. So you should have seen these bracket mushrooms or any mushrooms previous. They put torchlight, check it if it is sporulating and all. Then you come back, set up everything and wait for it to take better pictures. So it sporulates only for 2 or 3 days in its time, and then it dies. Then the new generation, when it goes on to the different barks or different ground or anything, it grows. The new mushrooms or the fungi will grow. That's the story behind this. So now you take the close-up or the nature's close-up at spider's web. How beautiful it is. It is just like jewelry. And particularly when you put flash in the morning times or when there is a sunlight in the morning, you will really feel it is as a necklace. You can fool your wife and tell that there's a nature's necklace for her. So this is so beautiful. And if you use F11 or so, that is enough. F8 or F11, because there is no depth behind. So it is at the one plane. So you can use either F8 or F11, not more than that, not required. But use flash properly, one backlighting and one diffuser from the front, like that. And if there is a spider in that, it is much more beautiful. But during this, the whole night it was there was a dewdrops. The whole it was a misty day. This was taken at 5 o'clock in the morning. When I went for a trek, I saw this everywhere. So I requested my friend to hold the flash from the front. I used one flash from the camera and shot this picture. And here, this was taken in the daylight when the last light in the evening light is falling on the web. And again, on that during a misty day, the whole web had become a lot of dewdrops collected, and there was a little opening in the sky that gave little bit light. So I have not used any flash here, and I used about maybe around 300 mm or something to take this close-up. So looking the nature at a close-up is very, very important. So that is what I mean to say. This is a tent spider, tent web spider. So usually most of the wildlife photographers are macro photographers. They take spiders or with web and other things with the flash or without flash or anything. But proper placing of the flash, it gives different colors that is already incorporated in the web of the spider. Each web, the thread of the webs are made with different colors. It's a natural way of illuminating the colors. It is a iridescence of the light that penetrates the thread, then it gives the colors. So the top portion, what you are seeing in the top, this area, and this area is the sunlight that is coming from the top. And when there is a web, I am sitting from the bottom and I am seeing this. So I shot with fully daylight, not with any flash. If you use flash, you don't get to see this. But some of the times when you place the flash at an angle of 45 degrees or 35 degrees pointing down, then you will get this effect. But it's a trick shot. You have to shoot about 10-15 images to get that particular iridescence. Otherwise, in daylight, all 100, if you take 10 shots, all 10 shots, you will get this iridescence. But you have to lay down and take, you look at the top and you have to be bottom, and the sunlight has to penetrate through the web. Then only you get this lighting. Similarly, even when you look at a web, you may not see it any activity taking place. But when you go very close to the web, you can see a spider has got a blue-eyed bush frog. This bush frog is almost about 2 inches maximum, 2.5, maybe 2 inches, that's all. It has been caught in the web, and you can see the spider also. It is, once it is caught, it cannot escape. So once it is dead, then the spider will consume the energy or this thing, liquid from that bush frog. So these are the very important factors that as a wildlife photographer, you have to go very close wherever you're walking and see what is happening in the nature. That is to learn, to get knowledge. Here you see the brown link spider, a beautiful number 9 composition. It has caught a fly, honeybee rather. It has caught. And as soon as these bees I have seen in the nature and observed while shooting pictures, there is a natural daylight picture with a diffuser from the front. It is not a flash diffuser, but it's a white cardboard from the front, and the backlighting is the sunlight. And I have observed in my photography showed, whenever the spiders or anything, insects, they catch hold of the honey bee, the honey bee, because it has got honey, maybe even it's in its this thing or anywhere, it releases the smell around. And even when it is alive and when the predator has caught it, it punches the body. When it punches, it releases the smell or anything. So immediately the other small flies, you can see another fly has come. Wherever there is a sweetness or anything, these flies will come immediately. So this is the close knitting of nature. And the spider, which is one of the very ferocious hunting spiders, and they are being caught by weaver ants. And when the weaver ants, anything that is caught by weaver ants, there is no escape from them. Even they catch live bull ants or live small insects, butterflies, things like that. But they 90% they depend on the dead insects or dead butterflies or anything dead. It is easy for them to carry it to the nest to store for the winter requirement. Here it has caught a spider. Other two on the right side, other two, this thing, it has torn its legs, one of the legs, and they are taking away. So you can see the cruelty in the nature. It is amongst the nature. We may say it is it may look very cruel to us, but it is part of the nature. That is what it is going to teach us. That is what we are going to learn in the nature. So that is why I say it is not just photography. Photography should be secondary. So knowing the behavior of animals and birds or insects or butterflies or so many things is much more important than photography. Photography you can learn anytime. But knowing about this behavior of practices or behavioral issues of insects and other tiny objects is also very important. Here you can see the size of the ants that is carrying the honeybee. It is 10 times or 15 times or more than that. It is the weight of that particular ant. But how it is lifting. And the other two umpires on the right side, they are looking at the match. And on the left-hand side, one more ant which has got the same honeybee. Very, maybe they are part of the bee, this thing, they might have caught it. So you can see here. So when they are carrying it, they are quite fast moving. So we have to place our flash and hold the flash properly and all those things. So I usually carry 2 or 3 tripods, generally when I'm going alone or with one friend, so that I place all the 3 flashes and my camera onto the tripod and take pictures with different lighting. But in these kind of situations, there is no room for taking more time because they immediately they move because they have to carry it to the nest. So either I have to ask one of the friend to hold a flash from the back or from the front. I have to use my another flash and be specific about the exposures and precise about the sharpness of the focus. Then I have to take pictures. So it is quite, though it is very interesting, it is quite cumbersome to take such kind of action images in the nature, particularly when it is very tiny, very small things. These things, it happens in front of us. In fact, when yesterday I went to the forest department, so to take permission for tomorrow's macro outing, there I carried my coffee table book on macro photography. I showed them most of these images are shot by shot in this forest. They could not believe it. They said, "Are these are found in our forest? Are you sure?" They are asking because their work is to go to their office, do the thing, and come back and go home. That's all. They will never even walk under the tree or see under the bush or see under the leaf or anything. So as a nature photographer or a wildlife photographer, I feel privileged to see such beautiful things happening at a very close-up things. And how many people have seen the intricate structure of dragonfly? And they have 2 marks also here. On each wings, they have marks. And you see how intricately it's been webbed, just like spider web. It's so beautiful. It's a netted wing, so beautiful. And these dragonflies are called as the tigers of the insect world because they're just like tigers. They encounter the prey with this thing. They do not chase it away or anything. They wait for the prey to come near and ambush. That ambush quality of these dragonflies is compared to the tigers. And when they are wet in the dewdrops are all collected on their wings. And even if you go 1 inch from from them, they will not fly because their wings are wet. And they are waiting for the sunlight to come and get the wings dried up. And whatever the whites that you are seeing is all the water that has been collected overnight because of the dewdrops. And even on the head patterns you can see on the eyes, there is a lot of dewdrops. So there is a small 7-spotted ladybug on a beautiful yellow flower, and yellow and red combination is very cute in this thing. And there is 1 centimeter. This bug is just 1 centimeter, and you can just see how big is the flower compared to the bug. It may be around 2 centimeters or less than that. And lot of times we usually do not give importance to any cactus or anything, but on the cactus, there is a close-up of the cactus, and there is a jumping spider there. And jumping spiders also, you can see the beautiful patterns on the cactus. So within that, they are living. So jumping spiders, they can jump from anywhere to anywhere, and they can catch the prey very easily. They are perfect hunters, and they are less than 1 centimeter, most of the jumping spiders. And sometimes we use extended converters for our macros to capture these tiny this thing. So it is so small. And here you can see the beautiful pattern of Nilgiri tree. So Nilgiri tree, when you go very close, you may see only the pattern and colors and appreciate. But if you go much deeper into that, there is a twin-tailed spider that is just hiding here. You can see at the lower bottom, there is a 2-tailed spider or twin-tailed spider, they call it. Very common among all the tree barks or this thing, they will always be there. But you can see how nicely in a beautiful environment it has made its home. There is a close-up of the leg of the cricket or the long-horned grasshopper, what you call. So just grasshopper, we just usually say, and oh, there is a grasshopper, and we go. But have you ever seen, even the photographers, have you ever seen the legs? So many thorny kind of creatures on the legs. These are all the things for them to prey or catch the prey, and also for safety sake. It's like armors. So these are all very tiny. So these are all the factors that it gives a lot of knowledge in the jungle. And here a snail in the backlighting. So there is a sunlight, there is a flashlight from the back I had given, and front light is a diffuser flash. 2 flashes we have used. This is a snail. And these are the, there are thousands and thousands of eggs of frogs. This is in the slush. There's a small puddle in the forest, and it was totally in the slush. Just on the top of the top layer of the slush, all these frogs have, single or 2-3 frogs, they have laid eggs in that. And you can see how hexagonal patterns they have created around each this thing, so that they will not collide with each other. So they have given the space, and how neatly they have moved it. You can see it. It is the work of the nature. If a human being, if he wants to do it, even if you have 100 hands, he cannot create this. So these are all called as the protection from each eggs, so that they should not collide, so that each egg will sprout into froglets later. And the same thing, probably, I don't have that particular picture in the slideshow, but for your information, I would like to share. Whenever you go to the forest, where there are very long trees, elongated trees, and thick forest or anything, look at the top. towards the sky. All the tree lines will be there. All the tree leaves, each tree has got leaves like this, and center there is a gap. Not only in the center, around those trees, there is a gap. Have you observed anybody? Anybody can give me yes or no? So there are gaps. These gaps between each tree, when it is curved, the same curve gap will be there for the next tree. When it is taking a turn from the other end of the tree, there is a curve again, and it is in the same shape. This is called as the crown shyness. Crown shyness. Because each tree, they shy away from the other tree. So they don't want to shake hand or collide with that tree. So they take a turn and grow. They will not grow into the territory of the next tree. You please observe when you go next. Here you can see a very, very tiny, this is the size of a peanut. I'll tell you, it's the size of a peanut. Within that, there is a, this is the egg of the frog, blue-eyed bush frog egg. Within that, there is a life. The tiny frog, what you are seeing on the left, like a mother's womb, where in the mother's womb, the baby, it keeps rotating throughout the day, 24/7, 9 months, it keeps rotating. Likewise, this tiny frog, it keeps rotating inside this egg. You can see on the right-hand side, it is toppled down. It is the difference between these two images is few seconds. So it keeps rotating. So these are the things that you have to go close up in nature. That is what I mean to say. Because these are not an easy task to find, because these particular frogs, they are found in rainforest. And in rainforest, most of these tiny creatures, they're all found in bushes and under the trees or in the fungi or in the mosses. So within that, there is a clutch of eggs. So those clutch of eggs, which are exposed to the nature, it can be very dangerous because it is exposed to the nature. Any predator or any other small lizard or any other things, they can come and pick it up. So they have to survive within that condition. And sometimes due to the rain drop, heavy rains, from the clutches, each eggs will fall down and get caught between other mosses. Likewise, it happened to this egg also. So it has just dropped from the clutch of the clutch and fallen here. And here also I have used two flashes, one from the front, one from the back, to give the backlighting effect.
So even the cat light there in the eyes. In the eye, there is a cat light also.
Actually, it is not a catch light. It is the eye formation. It is like that. Because at this time, it will not have the eye retina or this thing, glass kind of retina on that. It is the structure of the eye, actually. So this is whenever you go into the forest, it is not always that you will find the insects everywhere and wherever you want, on the leaf or on the bark, you can see. Sometimes they will be hiding. They don't want to show it in front of us. But the sunlight has given us beautiful this thing to see it, even their shadows also. So when we see their shadows behind the leaves, we'll find out that there is a praying mantis just behind the leaf. And these praying mantises also, sometimes when there is a spell of rain and the rain stops, the background, the dewdrops, it acts as a prism and gives beautiful pattern for our picture. So this enhances the beauty of the image of these any subjects. Here it is the case of praying mantis. Why it is called praying mantis? Because you can see the hands, always they keep the hands as though they are praying. That's why these insects are called as praying mantis, and they are ferocious eaters. Once they catch the prey, they will finish it in a few minutes. And here it is a close-up of the bumblebee, and you can see how they are carrying the pollens on their head. And there's a close-up of wool ant on one of the flower petals. And here, what it makes is the contrast between black and yellow. And there's a close-up of caterpillars. Some of the quality or the behavior of caterpillars in some of the species is they always move in one lane, holding each other, or maybe like that. They always move in a line. And sometimes when you see it from in the backlighting, you can see the hairs. And if the caterpillars are very, very colorful, very gaudy colors it has, they have it is poisonous, this thing. So even the birds or any other predators are also, they don't go near when it is too colorful. And here the play of light and shadow, two caterpillars, they are eating this leaves. That is a food for the caterpillars, but you can see the shadows here also. And this is the caterpillar of the hawk moth. It's not a butterfly, it's a moth, hawk moth. So this butterfly, it has got a eyes like a snake, so that it can scare away the predators. That is a safety way of nature's creation by giving the eyes. It looks like a snake. But what I like here is the pattern of the leaves. And this is also another different kind of a caterpillar. Looks very similar to centipede, but it is not a centipede-like. It's on the moss in rainforest. There's tawny coster caterpillars. You can see how they are clinging with each other for the protection or anything, but backlighting makes very important. You can see the different colors here, the red and yellows and blacks. And here one caterpillar eating the leaves, it's feeding on the leaves. This was taken with one single flash from the backside, backlit flash. So this is a triangular formation of a tiny flower, but there is a beautiful caterpillar which has got a lot of hairs on its body, as well as this flower also has got hairs on its body. So that triangular composition is important for this particular image. And there's a close-up of the top portion of the caterpillar. You can see how the tiny things is protruding outside its body. So these things you will not see it unless you go very close to the subject. From the far, all these things, whatever I have shown, it will not be seen at all. So here I end the insect world. Now I will just show some of the close-up of some of the animals and birds. Then I will take you to the different world of different this thing. So here it is the gore, the female gore, and you can see the most beautiful horns, how it has turned. It is quite rare to see some of the horns like this, and 2 ears opening. It is looking at me with some kind of anxiety, that like what I am going to or what I am up to, because I was a little closer to it. And this is a Himalayan ibex. Usually in my pictures, even with the birds or animals, I show the environment, because that is where you get an idea like where it is being photographed. Himalayan ibex means you have to show Himalaya. If it is Himalayan vulture, I have to show the vultures with the Himalaya background. So it gives more connectivity to the environment as well as to the region that it is found. So this Himalayan ibex, it is a male. You can see the beautiful fur on its body. Actually, this was taken with 35 mm color transparency during my Everest base camp trekking. So I just scanned it and made a digital copy of it. And this is a close-up of a spotted deer. It is very inquisitive. It is just curious to know what we are and what we are going to do. And this this tiger, one of the most beautiful young tiger, which had just ventured into Tadoba. But it did not stay for a long time. But just after 2-3 months, it vanished into different forest. I don't know the name of this also, but it was a very smart and young tiger, just about 3 years old. And we got it at just about 6 feet or 7 feet. It was just taking water from a small puddle there. So I got since I was using 100-400 mm, this was the closest that I could get. And this is just born baby of a macaque. So you can see how the pinkish colors and the redness of the skin is still there, and it is clinging onto its mother's leg. So you can see how it wants protection from its mother, from any other this thing. Even the mother is protecting that, keeping the hand. This is the full frame. I have not cropped or anything. So while shooting only, I take whatever the frame that I want, I compose in the cameras. I don't recompose while processing. It hardly about 10% or 15% of the times that I recompose for different reasons. Otherwise, whenever I am shooting, it will be full frame, full picture that I show. This is Himalayan pika. Most of the people might have seen marmot in Ladakh. This may not be the relative of marmot, but it is a relative of the elephant, for your information. So this is a pika. This was taken at 14,500 feet above sea level in Munchiari. I went for a trek. So there I shot this picture. There is no flash. This is just daylight. And the red eyes are original. Many of the photographers, they take pictures of rhinos, close-up heads and close-up and other things. But I found this has got much more beautiful design and patterns at the back. So nearly about 20-25 different rhinos I have shot like this. Most of the birds and animals, not only from the front, from the back also, they are very beautiful. But it takes your visualization or your third eye to see and appreciate the beauty of the patterns and the lines. So this was taken in 600 mm lens, closer. But I loved this picture in black and white. But I wanted to show the original eye color of the bird. So I converted partial into black and white. So I am showing the original eyes, how it looks and how beautiful it looks in black and white. There is a pond around. And this is a close-up of Montagu's Harrier in big one. This 600 mm shot. I have shot many pictures of the whole bird and with environment and all, but I wanted a close-up. I want to see how ferocious, how curious they are, and what is the shape of the beak, what is the color, and all those things. So I took this a full frame. As I said, even the peacocks are more beautiful at the back. So you can see the lines and designs from the back side. It is as beautiful as from the front, even from the back. It is entirely different view. This is a close-up of a swallowtail butterfly caterpillar. So this caterpillar, like I said earlier, there is a camouflage quality of or the survival behavior of the some of the insects and other things. So it looks like a snake. So most of the birds or anything, they feel it is a snake, so they don't come and catch it very easily. This is the close-up of camellia. the behavior of or the characteristic of this chameleon is both the eyes are independent of each other. They can turn 360 degrees independent, and they can see 360 degrees independently, and they can gauge where the prey is or who is around, and they can see the environment also. Depending on the environment that it is sitting among the leaves, green leaves, or among the dry leaves, or among the flowers, or on the road, or anything, it can change its colors. As all of you know, chameleon quality is changing the colors. And the tongue is as long as its tail. So it has extended till tail. So when it wants to catch a prey in front of it, it extends the tongue. It is as long as its tail. So the tail always is curved and curved and curved. And at home also you can see the nature at a very close up. This is the betta fish in the small tank, and how beautiful the the same colors that God has created. Particularly this betta fish, they come in thousands of colors and thousands of hues of colors. So each fish has got its own beauty, and the fields, what you can see here, the light can penetrate through that. So some of them have got the transparency like anything, is just like a paper or a kerchief, hanky. The light just comes inside. Sometimes you feel as though you can touch it. So they are so beautiful. You can just, whenever you are in a fish tank nearby, you can just check it out. And this is just in a nature when the wind is blowing among the dry grass, you can see such a beautiful wind patterns, as well as you can feel the wind. And this is the close-up pattern on the beach when the waves are turned and gone back into the sea, and it has formed a different design on the mud. And when you go very close to it, you will find as though there are a lot of river is flowing in different channels. There's the close-up of dry grasslands. When you go to the higher altitudes of 14,000, 15,000 in the mountains, you can see these beautiful grasslands, which you will not find it on the plains. This is endemic to highlands. And when you go to the desert, desert is not just the sand. It has got its own beauty. And during the day, because of the light and shadow, you can feel the texture of the sand, the pattern of the sand. Along with it, you can see the beautiful patterns of the light and shadow of the grass also. When there is a moss on the rocks or anything, there are very tiny objects, which is just about 1 centimeter, 2 centimeter, 3 inches, 2 inches and all. Actually, my friends and all, we went to one place in rainforest. There is a Betta the Bhairaveshwara temple in the mountains in Coorg. So we were all sitting on this. When they were sitting, I went to the temple to take some pictures. When I returned, I saw this people are sitting on this compound. Actually, this is a compound wall. I made them to get down from that, and I shot this close-up of this moss with a dry grass coming out on that. How beautiful it looks. And this is the backside of the lotus plant, the leaf of the lotus plant. This is the dry leaf of the banyan leaf. Once it is dead, for almost about 10-15 days, if you leave it in the open, the whole this thing will become transparent. This is a palm leaf, and these are cactus plant. So when you go to the cactus plant, you look for not only flowers that they bloom on the cactus, but also the beautiful patterns. Even though they are they have got thorns, that the thorns have got beauty in it. That you have to appreciate it. And how beautiful it is, not only from the top, but also from the side. So it is, the beauty is lies in the beholder. Like when you look at this thing, you imagine in your own way. When somebody else see this, he imagines in his own way. So each person has got his own way of appreciating the beauty and capturing it. But only the thing is, we have to immediately respond to that particular composition or particular lighting or particular subject. You can see a small plant coming out of the rusted window. You can see even the abstract paint patterns on this rusted window. There is a young, always when you go near the bamboo trees, you also find young bamboos. And you see some of them, some water is dripping or anything. Sorry. Water is dripping, and so many times the rainwater will not stay like this, but only the dripping of the plants from the top, it forms like this. So I feel the tree is crying. So that is the visualization that I got while shooting this picture. So I took this in a close-up shot. This is the fun leaves once it is dried in the summer times. So it gives a beautiful pattern. There's just a direct sunlight, no backlighting or anything, just a direct sunlight, dry fun leaves. There's a dry, these are all the abstracts that I find in nature. When you take a very close-up look at leaves, dry leaves and other things, you find colors in that, you find patterns in that, you find dimensions in that, you find different looks you get, and each thing has got different colors and looks. And this is a fun plant in the early morning. This was shot at 5 o'clock in the morning. All the dewdrops are collected on the top. You saw that spider web which was taken at 5 o'clock. Actually, those spider webs are built on these kind of ponds. There is another very hairy kind of small plant. So I like it that backlighting this thing on this. And again, a dry ponds which has fallen on the snow. So this we have not placed it and taken. Due to the wind, it has just dropped on the snow. And I shot this with the same daylight, no backlighting or anything. The backlighting is falling only on the snow. So because of the whiteness, this has gone dark. And these are the dewdrops on the, the raindrops on the plant. Just soon after the rain, I shot this picture. And this is nothing but looking at the nature at a close-up. Is this talk and slideshow is nothing but looking looking at the nature in a different way with a different perspective. That's all. It is not that I want to show off my images and want to appreciate you, but I'm asking you to look and take a different look at the nature from tomorrow onwards. And you also find all these things. You may do much better photography, or you may appreciate much better than me. But looking at this is very important. This is a seed plant. Actually, it falls from the tree due to the wind once it is dried. But when you go very close, you will find this pattern on this seed. This seed is about 1.5 to 2 1.5 inches seed or something. I love to work on dewdrops, raindrops, and all those things. It gives beautiful happiness, actually, to say. Happiness to photograph these water drops and droplets and other things, wherever it is. And here I use it 2 flashes. And I use it F22 to get that sparkle in the droplet. So you can see even the web, spider web on that. And some of the tiny flowers that I showed earlier, very similar to that, but the composition makes an interesting picture here. And if you look at the grass where with the raindrops, if you go very close, you find so beautiful and very coolness in the picture. And these are not bamboos, but very similar to bamboo family. This was taken in one of the private farms in Pune, as I said. So this was on a high altitude. All these pictures that I'm showing now, which will be different from the previous set. So I'm showing even in the garden or any small area that you are walking or taking a stroll, you can get so many in this thing. Like the patterns on the leaves, it creates abstracts. These abstracts you will not find anywhere like on leaves. Leaves are the most beautiful things that you can have patterns. See here, it's another leaf. How beautifully it has created. All leaves are different, though, but the abstract designs and the patterns, how you compose it, is individualistic, and each one of them is different from each other. And we can balance them with the background or with this thing. And you can try out with your black and white or color, whatever you choose to. This is a wide angle shot actually. This I used 24 mm and went very close to that and took this picture. And actually, even though it is not close up in nature, but I love how the nature has provided a beautiful background for us. That is a dead wood actually. So the dead wood has got so much of character in it. And contrasting with this cactus plant at the bottom, how the roundness and the thorny in that, it has beautified the image. So this as a whole, I have not, any of my pictures, I have not placed any plant or any leaf or flower, however I want to photograph. These are all natural setup and shot directly and full frame images. See, these internal lines and whatever, very tiny and very very delicate lines that you are seeing, we will not see it. We'll see the whole plant, some green and white or yellow color plant and beautiful leaf, we say, and move off. But at a closer distance, you can see how neatly they have been placed. And each one of them is so delicate lines. Even if we draw, we cannot draw like that. This lily plant leaf. This is a lily plant close-up pair of them. This is a close-up of croton leaves. So this, because of the directions and curves and other things, I shot like this. And again, this is another type of croton flower, I mean the leaf. So I love that edge of this thing and the vine, I mean the beautiful patterns that it has created, different vines and all inside. And among the stones, there is a life. So one small leaf protruding outside the stones. These are all the stones that is artificial stones, maybe, I don't know. So they have put it in garden. So I saw this tiny leaf taking its birth amongst that. And I found, I'll show you in my next slides, same place, in a similar place, I found another life also. And this is the close-up of roots of some of the plants that's in the pot, actually. And this is a single flowering, this thing, it has sprouted in different directions. And I had never seen such a kind of plant, flowering plant so far. So it was very interesting to see the patterns here, beautiful design it has got. And of course, there is a palm leaf, but where you place this center of attraction is left to you, because one-third composition always with these lines going out and spreading diagonally, it gives more dimension to the picture. And these just some of the views that I have taken during my walk in that beautiful garden, where there is a life even amongst the stones and the dead. That is what I found in this garden, because there are so many tiles and stones and other things everywhere, but there is a life. Somewhere or the other, some kind of living being, they want to sprout out, and they want to live. And they want to show the world that they are also so beautiful, and they also want to live and give beauty to the nature and other things. And even if they are dead, they form in a different way. And for photographers, even every curve and every lines are so important, and it beautifies the images. And for our satisfaction, we can take anything, even the leaf that is as dropped out from the plant. Because of the stones and this thing, it gives an interesting composition. And here also these beautiful flowers, particularly with the yellows and reds and greens, it looks very interesting. And when we go very close to some of the plant life in the parts or anywhere, you find a different kind of organisms that is grown in the waters, and with different variations in colors as well as in their shades and things like that. That itself is a beautiful to watch, and very, very different world it is. And these are the young leaves of banyan tree. And banyan tree is one of the most sacred for all the Hindus as well as all Indians rather. And it has given lives for not only for birds or animals or humans, but also for so many other organisms that is found in the nature. And these young leaves, which has just sprouted, will become a big, huge banyan tree in the future. So, friends, thank you for listening to this long talk and slideshow. I hope you enjoyed. And if you have learned anything, I'm so happy for that. Thank you so much. Any questions?
Yes, Satish, there are a few questions that were asked earlier,
Yeah.
which I'll just read out now.
Yes.
So we'll start with Akshata Manjunath, who says, what are the steps you follow in post-processing? Especially the colors are so vibrant. So how do we get that? So she says, do you darken the background using dodge and burn to draw the attention to the main subject?
See, there are two factors. One, I keep telling in my talks that you spend more time while shooting so that you will get the best of the pictures, so that later you will spend less time in front of the computer. You spend very less time while you are shooting, you have to spend more time in front of the computer. So you just decide how you want. So while shooting, I give more importance for the background, for the lighting, for the composition, and for perfect exposures. And during the first slides itself, I told that all my frames will be full frame. And similarly, the exposures are 98% or 95% it is perfect. Why? Because I learned this technique when I was using transparencies, color transparency. So when I was shooting color slides, I had nearly 80,000 to 1 lakh color transparencies. Each color slides that I was shooting, it has to be 100% exposure perfectly, not even 5% or 10% under or over. So it will not give correct colors. And once you expose and get the film developed, that is the final. There is no negative nor the positive. So that is where I learned how to give perfect exposures for any kind of lighting or any subjects. So later on in digital SLR cameras or in mirrorless cameras, it has become more easier to use it. So now I learned from manual cameras because we never had for almost about, I'll say now I am into 44th year of photography. Maybe about 30, 35 years, I never had opportunity to use automatic cameras, all manual cameras. That is how we learn. And the composition has to be perfect there because in the negative or in the positive, we cannot crop it because it depends on the printer, how we crop, whether it can crop or not. It is very difficult to tell them. So sometimes if there is more gap, you would crop it. Otherwise, there is no room for any errors in manual time. Now everything is possible. If you have composed very tightly, you can extend your borders or you extend your canvas and give beautiful backgrounds. If you are underexposed, 2 stops, 3 stops, you can make it much better. Yesterday, Mr. Professor has shown us how 2 stops underexposure picture can be made beautiful. Similarly, you can do that. And I prefer to be perfect while shooting as well as doing processing. In processing, if the picture is 100% perfect, you need, I'll tell you, most of the people, they say, I take about 25 minutes, 30 minutes. Sometimes I spend 4 hours in front of one picture to process and all. I don't know about that. But my personal view is that if I shoot this picture 100% perfect, I take about 8 seconds to 10 seconds or maximum 1 minute to complete one picture. If there is some flaws or if there is some mistakes, I take about 3 minutes to 4 minutes. If I have to redo it and if I have to burn it or dodge it, or if I have to do coloring and other things, I take more time. But I don't over process any images. I don't give saturation more or anything. I use vibrance 10% more. That's all. I don't do, if, for example, if these leaves have got orange, I don't touch the orange to make it more orange. If there are yellow, I don't touch it to make it more yellow because it doesn't give the reality. I want the real feel. You should feel it. This picture has been taken in backlighting and it shows the tenderness and all those things. So all these factors, the lighting, what it is coming from the back, it should be only so much. It should not, highlight should not blown up. If there is a shadow in this, that shadow should be only that much. It should not be dark. All these factors, say for example, any of these pictures you take, none of them are oversaturated. They are natural. And however it is looking like, even the stones which are white, they are not pure white. If they are pure white, it will blown out the whites. So it should maintain those colors. If the whites are so white, the black stones are also black. It is grayish black. They are not dark black. So like that, everything, it should synchronize with the environment. So to synchronize this, you have to be perfect while shooting. And to be more perfect, processing should be done properly. You should not overdo anything. I hope that I answered.
Yeah. Thanks, Satish. And Dr. Anand has another question. So he says, he's asking if you mount the flash onto the camera or do you use it as an external flash with a trigger? I mean, you have already said that you do both. Anyway,
Yeah.
please go ahead and answer it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, when I mount the camera on the camera, I usually put the diffuser because the whatever the controlling that you do to control the output of the flash, still there will be highlights that is hitting the subject. So you have to diffuse to give the proper shadow fill. That's all. It is not taking the picture with that this thing. It will only fill the shadows. And the backlighting or the side lighting that I put from the sides, maybe 2 or 3 lights, that will give you the depth in the picture. That will highlight the curves of the sides of the subjects, that is insects or butterfly or whatever you take. So that is only to highlight the sides of this thing, and that will give more depth in the picture than the front light. The front light is only to fill the shadows. Otherwise, you'll get very dark shadows. So I use a single flash sometimes, and I use, if I have more time, I do with 2-3 lights. Yeah. And if you diffuse the backlighting also, it is good enough. But you should know how much intensity you have to increase, how much distance you have to keep from the subject. If one flash is 2 feet away, the other flash should be 3 feet away or 4 feet away. That depends on how much you have to highlight the sides or the background like that. So if you work continuously with lights, then you will understand it better. But taking the single flash with the front is monotonous. Everybody will do, and that is just flat picture, nothing much. That is just to record or just to keep on good picture with you. That's all. But if you want to be more creative, use more lights.